Hi, I'm Holly Henson. Welcome back to Real Florida Outdoors. There's a lot to love about what we call the Real Florida, so stick around for more from Real Florida Outdoors.
Welcome back to Real Florida Outdoors. You got a treat today. We're at Hard Labor Creek Shooting Sports here in Chipley, Florida. Just a few miles off the interstate, but yet a pristine, unspoiled wilderness out here, literally, where you can enjoy all kinds of shooting sports. Here now with Gary Clark, co-owner of Hard Labor Creek. Gary, you have made some improvements here in the past. What are the new amenities that you're offering here at Hard Labor Creek?
Well, Paul, we're trying to add several new things to our shooting sports venue. We've had the skeet and the trap range and done a little bit in the archery ranges over the last couple of years. The biggest thing that we've added is a sporting clays venue. We had probably more demand for sporting clays than we did for skeet and trap. So we went and invested in the equipment. We now have a 10-station shooting facility here. Great targets, great presentation, great environment to shoot in. A lot of our seasoned shooters have been coming shooting with us, and they're telling us that it's as good as anywhere they've shot. So we're real pleased with adding that particular segment. We've also added a new clubhouse. We've got a venue now where we can entertain clients. If you've got a corporate event that you wanted to host, we now have the facilities to do that. We provide everything. We can do lunch, dinner, breakfast, all the facilities to have a meeting and then do a client recreation event in the afternoon. Lots to offer for people that haven't been to Hard Labor Creek Shooting Sports before.
Speaking of seasoned shooters, albeit young, Holly Henson, one of your proteges, recently came on as one of our co-hosts. Charming young lady, great family,
right.
Comes from a good family, but has really taken to shooting sports. I understand she took a whole year off, shot very well in the last tournament, has come back with a vengeance, it sounds like.
Right.
We are the beneficiary of Holly. She's come on, she's going to do some of our co-hosting, some of which is going to take place right here. It's got to make you feel great when you see one of these young people who you've basically helped to raise.
Sure.
And through the use of that sport have brought them out, sometimes out of their shell. Holly's quite a person.
Yeah, she is a great young lady, has grown into a wonderful young lady. Her dad and I have been best friends for 40 years, and of course we grew up with our families, grew up together, her kids, their kids and my kids. Holly has been a wonderful young lady to watch come through this program. Holly, just a few short years ago, took her first quail hunting trip here at Hard Labor Creek Plantation, really enjoyed that, kind of got into shooting a little bit. A very good friend of ours, Art Harris, started coaching her in the sporting clays venue, and she just really came into her own. She found her game, shot in several local tournaments, did extremely good in those, shot in a couple of state and national tournaments, did great in those. You were here with us a couple of weeks ago. She did fantastic. She's been off for a year, came back and right out of the chutes, just shot a 95, which is just an incredible score on this course. We're real proud of Holly and where she's come. She's going to do a great job helping to host Real Florida Outdoors.
It can't finish the show without mentioning James. Obviously, not only the apple of your eye, but probably one of the premier shooters in the area. You've worked with James, obviously. You've even gone so far as to get him some other mentors. James is doing fantastic.
He's doing really good. He's had a great season this year. We went to the Florida 4-H shooting sports competition. Our senior team won first place. Our junior team won first place. James won first place in his division, top overall shooter in the junior division. Is doing a really good job right now. If I can keep him focused and get some practice time in this year, we'll be competing. I'll be taking a group of kids in July to the Junior Worlds in San Antonio, Texas this year, the National Skeet Shooting Association's premier event for junior shooters. We've been going to this event for about the past 5 years, and I'm hoping that this will be his year to shine at the Junior Worlds.
You know, you talk about James and you talk about Holly, but there's literally a very large group, or small group, but large hearts and large talent. Talk a little bit about your involvement with that group of 4-Hers.
Paul, it's been probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life, working with these kids in the 4-H program. 4-H has afforded this opportunity to us. We've been running this program for about 6 years now. We've had about 35 kids at one time in the program. We're trying to manage the number numbers to about 20 kids that are running in our program now. But these are kids from all walks of life, a wonderful group of kids. They're impressive. They took to this sport extremely fast. They are extremely gun conscious. They're extremely safety conscious. And to top it off, they're really good at what they do. Again, we've got 5 out of the last 6 years. We've won the state championship with this group. Most of these kids have been with us since they were 8, 9, 10 years old. The beginning age for our program is 10 years old. Some of them came out before they were even able to shoot and spent a year with us picking up hulls and helping out, really enjoying the sport and really got hooked into it. These kids have taken over the program now. They're the juniors and the seniors in the program this year. They've just done a fantastic job. I couldn't be prouder of this group. And you can't mention these kids without saying a little bit about the parents as well. The support group that these kids have is phenomenal, and that's what makes these kids successful. And I try to remind them that every time that we get together and we talk, they need to go back and thank their parents for the amount of contribution that they made, not only financially to a sport that's a little bit expensive to shoot on a regular basis, but for dragging them out to practice and making sure they were here and giving them that moral support that they need to be winners.
You mentioned safety, and obviously that's very important, but you're also building responsibility into these kids. I would imagine that you see them develop into these young adults with that added sense of responsibility and safety and taking ownership of their lives.
Absolutely correct, Paul. You see it from the first couple times kids come and they don't have all their gear together. This is strung out, that's strung out, and it doesn't take long for them to understand that there are no babysitters here. They're going to participate in this sport. They're going to have to accept some responsibility for their materials, their equipment, and to keep it in good shape as well. So they spend a lot of time working on that aspect of it. We've seen these kids really grow and mature over the last 5 or 6 years, and they've become very responsible adults. I tell a lot of parents, a lot of adults, that I would rather take these kids in most cases into a hunting environment, a hunting situation with me, than I had grown-ups. They are twice as safety conscious. They haven't learned the bad habits that a lot of us learned as young people, so it's not as hard for them to get over and get around those kind of things. But they're a wonderful group of kids, and I've traveled all over the southeast United States, Midwest of the United States with these kids, and I'll take them anywhere. They're a wonderful, wonderful group.
I've come to know a little bit about your efforts here. All of that we just discussed about the kids, phenomenal stuff. I also know that you're probably not making any money here yet because of the fact that you keep plowing the money back into the facility, adding new features. The building is wonderful. What's your biggest challenge these days? What do you find is the challenge in moving forward with Hard Labor Creek Shooting Sports?
Well, you're right, Paul. It's one of those things we never expected to make a lot of money on this deal. To be able to offer this venue to the public was our goal. To be able to, it started as my personal goal of having a place for the 4-H kids to shoot, and for us to be able to keep and maintain the type of equipment that it takes to host this event, we've got to have people from the public supporting us. We've got to have paying customers, and this equipment's expensive. Targets are expensive. As we see the environment beginning to change, people are running out of places to shoot. You can't go to Grandpa's house and shoot anymore like you used to because there's 5 houses located around there now. So being able to preserve this particular piece of property and be able to preserve this sport that I love is probably the most important thing to me. Being able to give something back to a community that's been so good to me, it makes it all worthwhile in the end.
I would imagine that with an awareness campaign, letting people know that you are available and what is involved in sporting clays, it would almost take on a golf-like presence.
Sure.
A sport that you can enjoy with several of your buddies. Do you find some of that happening?
Yeah, absolutely. People ask me to describe sporting clays. I said, well, it's like golf on steroids to me. It's just another level. It's played in somewhat the similar manner. You pair up with a couple of people, you go out, you move, you actually ride golf carts in most cases through the course. You pull up to different shooting stations and take shots at targets that are presented from different directions, and you score the game. And so leagues are very, very popular in sporting clays. And if a group wanted to put together 4 or 5 people and set a particular day aside that they came out and shot in a league or shot in a group, we are very open to hosting those type of events.
just as bowling becomes very popular in the colder states,
right,
because the days are short and there's nothing
sure.
to do in the outside, certainly, it would seem that this would have a viral attraction. It seems like it would be something that would spread rapidly once people tried it out. If they want to find out more about Hard Labor Creek Shooting Sports, you've got a website?
Sure, we do, Paul. www.hardlaborskeet.com is our website for the shooting sports. And I'd mention also one of the biggest hesitations that we get from folks is a little bit nervous about coming out for the first time. Well, I've never been there. I don't know what to expect. I would encourage folks to come give us a try. We'll walk you through the process. If you've never shot sporting clays, you've never shot skeeter trap, absolutely doesn't matter. We're here. We can help you through the process. Once you get the hang of it, it'll take us 10 minutes to explain the process to you, and you'll be very comfortable on the range from then on.
If people are interested in finding out, they go to your website. I know you have directions there, but give us the short scenario. How do you get here, say, from I-10 in Chipley?
Real easy directions, Paul. You get off of I-10, headed south on Highway 77. 3.5 miles south is Clayton Road. You turn west on Clayton Road, and we're 2.3 miles on the left from Highway 77 on Clayton Road.
Got the website and the map on the screen now. Hard Labor Creek Shooting Sports, hardlaborskeet.com is the website. If nothing else, come out here and just experience what truly is a pristine part of the original Florida.
Sure, absolutely.
I've been out here a bunch of times, and every time it's different. There's always a different angle that the sun's coming at you. There's always a different number of mosquitoes, maybe. Yeah. The birds are chirping. What's not to like, even if you don't shoot? Sure. I've been out here before when you've had sporting clays going on, and those that accompany the shooter don't go in there in the air conditioning. They're out here enjoying
absolutely.
The woods.
Absolutely.
You've got a lot to offer here. What are your plans? You got you got big plans for the future?
Well, we would love to continue adding on to the sporting clays course. 10 stations is pretty much the minimum that you begin with. We would love to expand that to 15 stations. When we build the client base up a little bit, we will add some different venues into the actual course itself. We'd love to do some elevated tower shots. We'd love to build some nice platforms so that people could take shots that are down, take downward shots. That's just something that's pretty common in sporting clays across the state. We haven't quite got to that level yet, but that's one of our goals.